Well, hi everyone. Carrie Beck with Family eBiz Mastermind. It is closing down on the end of the year. And so, what I want to do today is talk to you about preparing and planning for 2023. We're going to just jump right in. But before we dive into 3 steps for preparing and 2 steps for planning, I do want to make a few comments about getting ready for 2023 because a lot of you are like, okay, I'm finished with 2022. I am ready. Let's get going. And I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. That is awesome. But let me give you a few hints as you prepare. Whether you've been doing this for a while or whether you're new to it, I would really encourage you maybe to do a big picture for the whole year, but really focus on the first 6 months. That's what I am really doing. I have some time slots for the whole year. For instance, I know when Homeschool Superheroes is, and I've already told my affiliates, end of July. I know when my Raising Leaders launch is in September. And then I also know my Christmas launch will be in November. But as far as really diving deep down into the preparing and the planning for 2023, I'm going to focus on the first 6 months. Now, most of you are probably like me, but you can't take an entire day to go and plan. So, what I recommend is taking 2 3-hour slots. If you have little kids, trade babysitting with a friend. Or maybe your husband has the week off and you can go off to a coffee shop and work. Or you might be able to find a co-working space that you could actually work as well. You need space and time to think clearly about everything. You need the time because creativity doesn't just come on a timer. Sometimes you need to allow your brain time to release and quit thinking about all the daily things that are going on and really brainstorm and come up with the ideas for the upcoming year. We're going to talk more specifically about that in a moment. So I would really encourage you to find, if you can't do it in an all day, take 2 3 hour time slots. I'm going to actually tell you how to break down those time slots as well. So, and then if possible, depending on your business, you might be planning with someone that knows you well. It may be a virtual assistant, it may be a peer, it may be your best client, but plan. And it may be that they don't do all of it, they do some of it. Here's what I'm going to do. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Oh, thought it was coming. It'll probably come in a minute. I am actually going to work for me for 2023, the initial plan, the last week of December. Then I'm going to bring Ross in, my virtual assistant, and then we will spend some time going through that and I will get his feedback. I have gotten his feedback on some things I don't realize are actually going on, or he may have a better idea on something. So if you have a virtual assistant, I would really encourage you to include them on moving forward. They may see some behind the scenes things that you don't see. Nathan Morris says this. He says, it's not always that we need to do more, but rather that we need to focus on less. I think that is so important. Less is best, not less time to plan, but we don't need a plan of a gazillion things coming up in 2023. I encourage you, and I will tell you for a fact from my own experience, when I focused last year on just a few important promotions and sprinkled some affiliate things throughout, I did a lot better. It was not like otherwise you are burned out because every week you feel like you're promoting something. And that's not good for you and that's not good for your customers. We all need a break. So let's talk about, I put 3 steps, 4 steps to preparing. Prepare for 2023 in 4 steps. Number 1, brainstorm your dreams and your opportunities. This is your first 30 minutes of what you are going to do. And there's no holding back. I would really encourage you, let me get it, to get something like this, get a journal, open it up, and start writing whatever comes to mind. All right. No holding back. Write down anything and everything that comes to mind about things you could do. It doesn't matter if you're going to do them or not. You just want to get a list of all of them. And what are you writing down? What if you could not fail at anything? What would you do? Brainstorm. Those are opportunities. Those are dreams. If the whys come along, write them down. Maybe you have a little separate page for whys, why you're doing this. Because sometimes as I'm brainstorming opportunities and my dreams, I will think about why I'm doing this. For me, that's to have the freedom to not be working a 9 to 5 job, but also freedom to go to my kids. Like last week, Ashley could not find a babysitter for her husband's company party, Christmas party. And so she asked me the weekend before, Mom, I cannot find a babysitter. Would you be able to come and watch the girls? I was like, sure, not a hesitation. Now, I did tell her that I had a mastermind meeting at before the kids got home from school, so I needed to be able to do it, and it was better to do it at her house than try to squeeze driving between the mastermind and the girls getting home. And that I also had a meeting with a copywriter that I had already planned, and I didn't want to reschedule. No problem, because I could get to her house before the girls got home from school, and we could work and I could get my work done. As soon as they got home, we played. We had fun. I don't know that I did any more work the rest of the time I was there. I may have gotten on and answered an email or two. But the cool thing is, because my business travels, but I can make up for it when I got home the next day. So just keep writing for 30 minutes. Maybe you need to put a timer on, but get a journal of some sort and just write all the ideas. Now, maybe I'll share a few things from last year. Create, because I haven't done 2023, but creating a digital course that would replace the bulk of my income. I completely revised my Raising Leaders Not Followers digital course. And then I launched it 4 times. Same course, improving the launch every single time. And that helped. The first and third were full launches. The second and fourth were mini launches. That third one is really the third time I had launched. That was my best launch ever. My fourth one actually was really good, even though it was a mini launch. What do I mean by a mini launch? It was 7 days instead of 10 days. And they immediately got access on the Monday of the last day. And we moved forward. Maybe you want to start a Facebook group and grow your ideal market, your ideal customer base. Maybe you want to hire a virtual assistant and get some things off your plate so you could really focus on what you are good at and let them do the repetitive things. Maybe you've been dreaming of writing a book. Maybe this is the year, or starting a podcast. Last year, podcast, I've thought about it, but as far as really doing it, no. But when Homeschool Superheroes came around and I did a mini podcast of the best of homeschool superheroes, I just flew with it and did it. That would be a mid-year plan and preparation. Maybe you want to create a webinar that will sell your digital course online, or a webinar that will sell your best product. I believe events drive sales always. Maybe you want to add, 2,000 people to your subscriber list, maybe 5,000. I don't know. Or maybe you want to hit $100,000 this year in revenue. Maybe that's a lot out of your ballpark. Maybe it's just $10,000. It doesn't really matter. Write it all down. Grab a notebook and write down everything you can and dream big. So step number 1 is brainstorming your dreams and opportunities. Step number 2 in preparing for 2023 is your next 30 minutes. So we've had 30 minutes, 1 hour. What are you not going to do anymore? What are you going to get rid of? Or how are you going to take care of yourself? These are things that are must-dos. For me, some of the things, I think it's important that some of you will skip this step. Some of you need to know, what are the non-negotiables? What are the things that must happen this coming year? Because then when it comes time to make a decision, if it goes against the must-have, no, I'm not going to do that. For me, I did not want to be sorting through email and Facebook all the time. This was last year. And I got to the point I could hire my VA to sort through that email and get rid of that headache. Personally, I wish he could do it all, but I still believe that I need to write personal email responses. And there are some things he still doesn't know exactly how to handle on customer service. So another no was I quit doing initial customer service. He could go in and look in the membership. He could go in and see if that person had signed up. He could go in my PayPal account and see if they had paid this past month. I didn't need to be spending my time doing that. Those are now non-negotiables. I'm not messing with it. Maybe you're no longer going to work on the weekends or at nights. I don't know your family. I don't know, but these are just some ideas. Or this is another thing. I am not going to take on every project, promotion, or bundle because I'm afraid I won't make money. I will say about 3 or 4 years ago, I took on every bundle there was. I promoted it completely. Last year, I didn't. I was very choosy on which promotions I did. I got to where I only wanted to promote ideas and things that would benefit and serve my audience. And so I let go of a lot of money making, but it was going to make me $100. I was no longer afraid because I had a system in place to sell my course, my new course. I was no longer afraid about worrying about making money. I didn't need to take on everything there was. I also believe in taking care of myself. Maybe you're going to commit to walking every day, or maybe you're going to get a massage once a month or something, or maybe take a hot bubble bath once a week, or maybe you're going to treat yourself and you're going to hire a housekeeper and you don't have to deal with cleaning the house. I actually hire out the lawn. I don't do any of the lawn. I haven't done that for years. All right. Housekeeper we used to have, then I started doing it again. And actually, that's one of the things I'm considering for the upcoming year. And once I decide, and I'm going to work on that next week, then I will proceed and figure out how I'm going to do that. Maybe you're only going to work on one major project at once or two at the most. For me, that is something last year I really did focus on. I did not have 4 major projects. If you are that much multitasking, you're not getting anything really done. Or maybe you are going to refuse to start something that, and everything you start, you will finish. You will only start projects that you know you will finish. You're not going to stop in the middle of it. So this is an important step. You need to be sure about doing this. I would take step 1, your dreams and opportunities. Step 2, put them all on Post-its on a wall. Maybe even put one side all the dreams and opportunities, and these are all the must-haves. You need it in a place that's easy to see so that you can prepare. So, and if you are at a coffee shop, maybe you could put it on a, what do you call those web things? Networking where you spider web everything on your computer. Personally, I like paper and pencil because I can move those things around very easily. So number 1 are dreams and opportunities. Number 2 are your must-haves. Number 3, now it's time to think about revenue. 5 minutes. That's it. How much do you want to make in 2023? What's the number you have in your mind that you are too scared to let come out of your mouth? I've got things in my head. All right. Don't worry about how you get there. Just write the number down. That should take less than 5 minutes. Don't worry about it at all. So, and then step 4 will be 30 minutes to an hour. This is review time. It is your stats review. You need to go back to 2022 and look at all your metrics, your stats, what actually happened. That's why, depending on where you are in your business, it may only be 30 minutes. It may take you an hour. Some of you, it may take longer. Whatever you find, you need to write it down on a document or write it down in your journal. So you have all of that in one place, because after our preparing these 4 steps, we're going to start planning, and it's all going to be based on our opportunities and dreams, our must-haves, our revenue goal, and then our review of last year, our research. So what are some things that you want to look at? I would look at your Google Analytics. How much traffic did you have, and how much we'll talk about next time. How much do we want to have? What did your shopping cart say, or QuickBooks? What were your sales and what were your expenses? A lot of you will talk about your sales. You forget. And this is a little bookkeeping lesson. We have our gross income. Then we subtract our cost of goods sold, the things that we paid just to make that happen. And then we have our overhead expenses. Then we have our net income, our final income. You need to know all three. You need to know your gross income. You need to know the cost of what it takes to make that income. So, for instance, for me, the cost of goods sold is, I was trying to think, my uh, bank service charges, like my PayPal fees or my credit card fees. I cannot make that money without paying those fees. So there are things like that. If you were printing out books, it would be the income for the book and the cost of printing that book or distributing that book as well. Digitally, it's a little different, but we definitely want to make sure all of our expenses are included. And so you need to take time to sort of look at that and see what were my income, what were my expenses as well. Then another thing you would want to do is look at your biggest leads. Where did you get your biggest leads and where did you get your best leads? Maybe you got, let's just make up a number, 5,000 leads from a bundle or from a promotion, but 4,000 of them unsubscribed. That means there was not a good match. That may have been your biggest. Maybe you only got a, let's say 700 leads from another promotion and only 10 people unsubscribe. Those are your best customers. Those are your ideal customers as well. So you need to take a look at your promotions that you did. Another thing you might be talking to about is just yourself. What did you really enjoy doing? What did you not like doing? What do you not want to do again? So for me, I loved creating my Gigi's Mailbox Club. I love running the events and getting to know the people that came and working with the speakers. Those were things that charged me up. I also believe they were some of my calling. Now, some of those are at different levels of my business. Gigi's is real beginner. My events are a little more advanced. So, what are the things I hate working on? Email, I've already told you that. Facebook, but Facebook is working for me. So, I won't give that thing up. Another thing, it's not that I hate it. I actually sort of enjoy it, but I don't think it's the best use of my time. And that's making images. I need to find someone, and that's one thing I'm hoping to do in 20. I had 2020, 23. I thought I had a college student who could help me with that. And that college student got so busy that I wasn't able to use her. So that is another thing I'm going to try to release because guess I'm sort of picky. I'm not that picky. I just don't want it all unbalanced. All right. And I have templates as well, but that is one thing I want to turn over the photos so I have more time for myself. What expenses do you even know what your expenses? Do you even know your income? Those are some things you need to do. I would take these metrics and then I would put those on post-its. So you've got three sections: your dreams and opportunities, your must-have, your non-negotiables, and then your research, your numbers that you have found as you go. You want to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly from 2022, so that you can move forward and make a commitment. Now, let's say this. You're like, Carrie, I don't even have those records. I don't even know what you're talking about. One, if you have a shopping cart, you should be able to find at least your income. But if you don't have your expenses, I don't know how you can turn in your taxes because you have to know your expenses to be or if you're not, you're paying a lot in taxes. You need a system for keeping income and expenses. Hunter has found one that he says is free and it's really good. I've been using QuickBooks since like 1990 something. And so I continue to use QuickBooks, and every Thursday morning or sometime around Thursday, maybe Friday, I work on that. I reconcile my bank statements. I reconcile my credit cards. That forces me to get all my expenses. If you're just saving them in an email folder, you are missing them because pretty much every month, I have missed one expense or another. So make a commitment then to keep your records better. All right. So that is all about preparing. Let's talk about planning now. There are 2 steps to planning and getting started 2023 on the right foot. Step number 1, let's plan 2023. I would say, I would take preparing. You could do that in one session, then come back. And this is going to be about a 2-hour time that I would say. You really need your calendar and you need to look from now into the next 6 months through June of 2023. And then in June, you can repeat this process. First, you need to decide how will you make the money in that goal. And then number two, you're going to put a calendar on it. So let's talk about number one. How are you going to make money in 2023? You want to go back to some of those opportunities and dreams, but you also want to look at your research. What made you money? And what did you really charge you up? And put some of that today together and then list all the ways that you feel like you can make money. And then you're going to need to narrow it down. If you have 15 ways to make money in the first 6 months, way too many ways. I would figure out the top maybe 4 things you're going to do in the first 6 months. And you could include affiliate projections, but you don't want to just like completely every month be sending an affiliate email. You could include that as well. But for each of those 4 promotions from your own business, you need to come up with revenue projections. All right. So you just want a few ways. Less is best. And then you want to wash, rinse, repeat. So here's some things that I am doing and have done this last year. I took my Raising Leaders Not Followers. That was always, I decided I was going to launch that many times in 2022. Then I have 2 events, my Life Skills Leadership and my Homeschool Superheroes. And then I have my Christian holiday promotions, which is usually Easter and Christmas, and then my affiliates. That's it. Now I will scatter a sale here and there, just depending on what's going on. But those are the major things I am doing in how to homeschool my child. During the other weeks that I am not promoting, what is that? That is relationship building. That gets your people to know, like, and trust you. So you can also develop a content creation, like these are my podcasts for the 6 months, or these are my blog posts, or these are my whatever you're doing, Facebook Lives. We're not talking about that right now, although you do need to do that. Those you can be heavier on in between the promotions because it will build relationships. It will also build traffic. So what are some things that you could be doing to make money? I've already mentioned my best one, creating a digital course online and then using events to sell it. Events drive sales. So I use webinars. I call them a master class. And I have various ways of doing those master classes, but I have 4 promotions. Major promotion in January and May before the summertime, a mini promotion in March after my leadership summit, and in September after, or maybe it'll be in August after Homeschool Superheroes. I haven't quite decided on that second one. Maybe you're going to create an online workshop or a webinar that will really sell your flagship product, and you are going to give it many times over the year. Maybe for some of you, you're going to do some coaching and make some packages. You could do, for those in the homeschool market, getting organized as a homeschool mom, and you could have some coaching packages for moms on helping them do that. Or maybe you could have a package on coaching them through planning their curriculum. It really depends on what your niche is. Or you could do, so that was also done for youth services as well. You could actually talk to them and plan their curriculum out, and that would be a service you could offer. And become an affiliate partner for someone else. I don't know about this year, but the last 2 years, my affiliate sales revenue was 30% of my total revenue. Do you know what your affiliate revenue is out of your total revenue? If not, you need to go and find that as a metric and do that back in step number 4 in preparing. All right. The other thing I would encourage you to do, and I did this last year, so I'm just sharing things that work for me as you think about the next year, because these are things I did last December. Changing the price point. I used to sell my Raising Leaders Not Followers. I said 97, usually 47, 57, most I'd ever sold it for. In January, I raised the price to 197 and 147. I had one person take me up at the 147. All my other January students bought the 197. Oh my goodness. Now, I had strategies and ways to do that, but could you change the price point and increase your revenue? And you could work less. It also brings in a different caliber of customer than the people that are buying $3 and $4 products. Now, I still have $5 products, but I'm saying I am focusing on those people that pay $197. I give them my full attention. I still do with the lower ones, but Ross can take care of some of their issues as well. Could you create some sort of VIP experience? That's what I did from the 147 to the 197. My 147 were independent students, no personal help from me. My 197, they got coaching, they got extra bonuses. I had special people come in and train them in different areas. So that would be something you could do. Another thing you can do to increase your money, and this, I don't have the exact percentages now, is I offer bumps in the shopping cart. That means they're checking out, filling out their information. Hey, you want this for a special price. So that's a bump, bumps the total up. Then when they check out, I offer them an upsell of some sort. If they don't take the upsell, I offer them a downsell. There's a lot of different ways you can run that funnel, but that's sort of what, those are some things that you should be considering as you plan for 2023. Do you know the funnel, the marketing funnel of how you're selling things? And do you know what bumps you will add to your flagship products, what upsells and downsells? Do you know what bumps, upsells, downsells you will offer? And a downsell could be someone that doesn't buy it all. And maybe you offer them a smaller version of something. They got in the shopping cart and they didn't buy, so you offer them a downsell. But all of those will add a little extra cash. Next, you want to run the numbers and look at your revenue goals in advance. And remember, as you are matching this up, it's 6 months. So let's just say you have, I'm just make it simple, $10,000 revenue goal for this coming year. How are you going to make $5,000 in the first 6 months? And break it down so you know exactly what you're looking at. So step number 1 is all about your revenue and how are you going to make that money? I'm sorry, that is part number 1 for planning or calendaring it out, planning it out. The next part is planning it out. I got my steps all mixed up. Where was I? Yeah, okay. This is phase 1 and 2 because I said, let's plan 2023. The first part is how are we going to get our revenue and where is it coming for? The next one, plan it out, get your calendar. I meant to have my calendar on here. I will take a picture and put it there. It's an old 4-month calendar. That's a dry erase calendar. We've had it for about 15 years and I use it, and I'm about to get started and erase everything, start with January and go through the first 4 months of the year. I put it all up there. It's color coded. So I know, and when I make that plan, it's all right there. It sits right next to my desk. What you need to get your calendar and start doing this. So as you do that, and as you're making your plans for those, let's say 6 months, go back to step number 1. What are your dreams and opportunities? Number 2, what are your must-haves? And then what worked? Step number 4. And then where's that money coming from? So you need to go through. If it doesn't work on maybe a dry erase board, maybe you get those Post-its and you have a month for January, February, March, April, and you could have a wall or going up and down. I did this on a door, the office door last year, and you could put January at the top, February, and you can move those Post-its, the dreams, opportunities, the must-haves, what worked and what didn't work. Put them there. Now, some of those must-haves, they need to be at the top because they're going to go through all 6 months. I'm not saying you just must have it in January. Those are things for the whole year. So what are some ways that we can calendar this out? Plan it out on a calendar, like I've just said, and to focus on each thing. First 6 months, I would say 2 or 3 promotions max. The rest of it is relationship building. Remember, as you have a promotion, you're going to have some prep time. For me, my Life Skills Leadership Summit is the end of February. We have a 3-month runway. We started actually 1, 2, 3, 4. We started in November. And then in December, we're getting speaker information. In January, videos and all the sponsor stuff. And then in February is early bird promotion. It is actually a 4-month entire promotion. You probably don't have something that's that long. Maybe you're going to launch a course like I do with Raising Leaders. When I do that, it's a 4-week runway. So that means I back up mid-January, and that's about till now. I start planning my pre-runway, my preparation or my pre-promotion. And so that leads up to that event and the actual promotion, the cart open dates. For Easter and Christmas, that's usually only a week or 2 because it's just not quite as big a thing. Remember, you need a break. Otherwise, you're burning yourself. If you are sending a promotion every week, you are burning out. Not only that, you're losing people and your audience is burning out as well. Now, do you have the back end considered? I've already talked about funnels. You need to think about in your calendar what's your back end. So let me give you an example. I have my Life Skills Leadership Summit at the end of February. It ends on a Friday. The following Tuesday, I have my first webinar for Raising Leaders, Not Followers. And I promote that in a mini launch. It's a 7-day launch. And I offer 2 free webinars in those 7 days for people. And then I open up enrollment. And then it closes and it's gone until summertime. That's the back end of an event. How, if you're not planning that, you need to rethink. And maybe we need to do some talking about funnels as well. But that would be something you could do. What other activities do you need to do just to maintain your business? For me, I've already mentioned that QuickBooks. I do QuickBooks on Thursday. I've been doing that for decades. I work with my VA. We try to meet once a week. And I try to work with my affiliates. I've got to keep those relationships. I've got to make sure I've got blog posts coming out. I hire those out, but then I have to review them and tweak them a little bit. So there's other things that need to go on that calendar. And so I actually do have some of that. And when are my e-zines going out? That type of thing. Ernest Hemingway has a really good quote. Never mistake motion for action. Never mistake motion for action. All right. Just because you're doing a bunch of things doesn't mean you're taking action, which leads me to the next point. Actually, 2 points, but how do you need to show up? This is a 30-minute process. So it's about a 2.5-hour process. The first one was 2 hours. So what are you going to do to show up? One, I think you do need to take action. I'm going to talk about that right at the end of this last step. But I think what I need to do is I need to take that imposter syndrome in my head and make it disappear. I need to replace it with the truth. And I need to say it out loud. If you're struggling, a lot of showing up has to do with our mindset about money, our mindset about whether we're worth the money people are paying us. I struggle with that on a regular basis. You need to say it out loud daily. Replace imposter syndrome with the truth that you are serving customers. If you need to, take one of your customers' testimonies. That is one thing I replay in my head. Hey, they said my course is making a huge difference in their homeschool. And so that would be something you need to do. How do you need to think right now and moving into 2023 to have a successful year, to make the money that's that revenue goal? What thoughts do you need to have to move forward? And I really think a lot of it all starts up here. If this isn't thinking right, then it doesn't matter how much action or how much motion you are going through as well. So consider, are you really excited about the actions you just planned on your calendar? Will these projects, promotions help me move forward? Will they light me up? Now, I'm going to tell you, not everything I do lights me up. Like, yes, I do have to go through Facebook and email sometimes, and that's not my favorite thing. But the things that light me up keep me moving forward. I believe I have a calling from God to work with homeschool moms, to work with single moms, to work with grieving moms. That keeps me going. The other thing that keeps me going is the freedom I have in my business to be able to work from anywhere in the world. So I'm willing to do the grunt work and even QuickBooks. Now, once I get into it, it's okay. Writing blog posts is not my favorite thing. Once I get into it, it's okay. But some of that sort of grunt work, I'm willing to do the grunt work because of the other side, the calling I have and the relationships I get to build with moms, and to be able to have the freedom to go visit my kids as well. So if your answer is yes, these things are lighting me up, then you need to take action. You need to do the work that it takes. All right. Remember, just doing a bunch of activities, and some of y'all are really good at motion, but you're not taking action on the right activities. I really like that Ernest Hemingway quote. Taking a lot of motion is not taking action. I love my little app. I don't have it up here. It's the Pomodoro app. And after I've taken my 5-minute break, it says, your 5 minutes is up. Get back to work. That's what you need to do. Go through the prep stage, those 4 steps of opportunities and dreams, must haves, your revenue goal, and doing your research about what happened and what worked and didn't work. Then your 2 steps of planning it, which is how am I going to make that money? Go look at those, that preparation and find the things and put numbers to each thing. My raising leaders, how much money do I want to make in that first 6 months? My life skills leadership, what is my revenue goal? What is it in affiliates? What is it in my holidays promotion? Make it, and if it's not what will meet my big goal, then I need to rethink some of that. So we want to calendar it, and then we want to we want to revenue it, put the numbers to it, and then we need to put it on the calendar. And then the last step, step number 2 for planning, is how are you going to show up? What do you need to do up here? And what are the first actions that you need to play? I will give you a bonus step. Celebrate. First of all, celebrate. When you finish all of this, I don't know what a celebration for you is. Maybe it's going out and getting frozen yogurt. Maybe it's going to the coffee shop with your friend in peace and quiet. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. Maybe it is a date out with your husband, which shouldn't really be. You need to be doing that on a regular basis. But maybe it's a weekend away with your family. Find a way to celebrate each of your successes. Does that mean you celebrate every week? No, but celebrate that you're planned and prepared. Then go look at your first promotion that you're doing that year. And then when it's finished, be able to celebrate that you have met the goals and the revenue goals and you did all the processes and it all worked out. Remember to celebrate. As a solopreneur, we often don't do that. So I think that's really important. Hey, if y'all have any other ideas or comments or questions, let me know. I am Carrie Beck with Family eBiz Mastermind. I will talk to you later.